What's up, Daryl? Good to see you in, man. We're about to start in 1 second. All right, gang, this is Mike with MrNoFluff.com, and today's lesson is about 3 rules you must know for real estate investing in this upcoming economic collapse. So I'm going to share with you the 3 rules that I've implemented for myself. This is not financial advice, but I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing on the backseat. Now, the very first rule in this upcoming crash is that properties are not going to have equity. Okay, there are going to be some that has equity, but it's going to be a low percentage versus majority that are not going to have equity. So the number one rule, and for me, which I'm sharing with you, is the most important rule, that whatever property that I buy, it must have massive cash flow. Okay, so again, in this upcoming crash, when I see a property, I'm not looking at the R or what the property is worth. Of course, I want to buy a house at 50 cents on the dollar, like everyone else. But majority of homes are not going to be in that situation. My main focus is that when I buy this property, how much cash flow am I getting from it? Because whenever I invest in what I call fire sales, or what I call when the building's on fire, that asset is losing. It's free falling, right? So it's not going to have equity, or it's not going to have major equity, or the majority of population is not going to have major equity because the asset is popping, it's free falling. So my first rule is that when I buy a property, I'm keeping 100% my eye, or I should say 98% of my eye on cash flow. When I buy this property, how much am I cash flowing today? Not tomorrow or a future date. I'm not worried about what the property's going to do in 5 to 10 years. I'm not really worried about is it going to have a lot of equity. What I'm worried about is how much cash flow is this property spitting out. So the very first thing is I'm not looking for properties that are going to give me $1 or $2 or $300 a month. I'm not looking for that because interest rate is at all-time low. The history of America is almost 0% interest rate on 30-year fixed mortgages, not ARMs, not trashy loans like 2006, 2007, 2008. I'm talking about fixed rates are almost at 0%, which means that's going to translate in cash flow. As a professional landlord, that's going to translate to me saying there's going to be massive cash cows where I'm going to make 700, 1,300 on entry level homes. What are entry level homes? First time home buyers. But that's a different episode. So I don't want to get into that too much. So the very first rule is that the property that I'm buying, how much is it spitting off positive cash flow? Unlike other investment strategies, real estate, what I like about it is that it has multiple dimensions of profits. One dimension of profit is equity. Another dimension of profit is cash flow. Okay. In a tornado, in a fire, when the building's on fire, I'm not looking for equity because that's why the fire is there. That doesn't make sense. It's kind of like, going to a, let's say, strip club and saying, look, I'm looking for a virgin. That doesn't make sense, right? I mean, like, the logic doesn't go there. So that's the same thing with when the asset is busted and is free flowing, then you can expect for the asset to have significant equity. Now, there will be people out there that owns their house clean and clear, will have equity, etc., but the majority of the herd will not. So I'm not concerned about what it is, how much equity it has today. What I'm concerned about is how much cash flow is it going to spit off for me, and it got to split off $600-700 minimum and more on entry level home, first time home buyers homes. Okay, not mega mansions, but first time home buyers is where I focus my cup of tea. Now, the second rule that I created for myself that I'm sharing with you, this is not financial advice. I'm not trying to tell you what you should do, but I'm sharing with you like an open book what I'm doing, is that this is the most important rule too. I'm not signing up for the debt. Again, let me say that again. I'm not signing up for the debt. I'm negotiating what's called a non-recourse loan. Again, a non-recourse loan. Again, I'm not going to a bank and saying, please, can I borrow some money? And then I'm going to sign a promissory note. What is the promissory note that says, Mr. Seller, if I default, you can come after me personally. I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not borrowing money traditionally. So again, I'm not going and signing a promissory note. I'm not getting a loan under my name from a traditional path because that's the dumbest thing to do. For me, this is not financial advice for you, but for me, because the market is tanking. Why would I go get a loan to buy a house when the market is going down? Okay. Um, and so I'm not going to get loans under my name. I'm going to negotiate what's called a non-recourse loan. All right, guys, click the like button. Okay, click the like button if you're liking this information that I'm giving you. Go ahead and click the like button. So the three rules that I'm going to be implementing in real estate investing in this upcoming economic crash. Rule number one, that properties must have massive cash flow. And I'm not looking at the equity. Of course, I want massive equity, but I know the building's on fire, so I can't expect to have, the asset not to be popping. That's why it's on fire. So cash flow. Number two, I am negotiating non-recourse loans. That means I'm not going to get the loan under my own personal name. Let's talk about that a little bit. Traditionally, when you go to, let's say, a bank, any bank, you name it, left from right, you borrow money to buy a house, a couple of things happen. The very first thing that happens is that you have to sign something called DOT, Deed of Trust. Basically, that is a security instrument that you, as the borrower, pledge to the banker in case you default. Okay? That sounds pretty fair. Like, hey, you borrow this money. If you can't make the payments on it, then it sounds fair for the banker to take your collateral, in this case, the house, your investment property. That sounds fair. Okay? But here's the other thing that bankers do, which I don't like, okay? And especially to get a loan in the downcoming economy, it's just suicidal, okay? Why? Because the next thing that bankers do whenever a borrower borrows money from a bank after DOT is they have what's called promissory note. So you as a borrower have to sign a promissory note that says, look, not only can you come after the collateral, which is the investment property, because I've given you the right to do that in what's called DOT, deed of trust, but you can also come after me personally, right, and sue me for deficiencies and etc. Okay, because I got into this note, and you could hurt my credit forever, right? So that doesn't sound fair because for me, I mean, it may sound really fair, but for me, it doesn't sound fair because I'm gonna put money down. I'm gonna improve the property, make monthly payments. They're already, AKA, screwing me by amortizing this 30-year fixed mortgage, which means that I'm paying all the interest up in the front first few years, which means that the bankers make all their money, which means that I don't pay any, I shouldn't say any, very low principal reduction. What is principal? The debt that I owe. I pay very little of that. So they're already screwing me in the amortization part. So that's why I don't like dealing with bankers. And that's why in my rule number two, I'm not borrowing any money from bankers, hard money lending, credit cards, anything like that, okay, to do deals. Now, I'm going to show you where I'm going to get the funds from. I'm going to use my own funds. And but the majority of the funds, I'm going to have the seller become my bank. In other words, I'm going to have the seller finance the deal for me. And in other words, let me just simplify one more. I'm going to just take over the seller's payment if they have a mortgage. If they don't have a mortgage, I sweeten the tea for them to be my bank, okay? Which is excellent. What's up, guys? On YouTube, seller financing. That's right. All right, guys. If you have any comments, you can go ahead and leave a comment. Click the like button if you're getting value. So now let's talk about my third rule. So in this audio, I've talked about three rules that I have, not financial advice, but that I'm using in the economic collapse for real estate investing. Rule number one, most important, or they're all very important, is cash flow. I'm not really looking for equity. Of course, I want to buy equity, but again, when the building is on fire, when the asset is popping, you can't expect to have the majority of people to have equity. Okay. Two, I'm looking to not get into debt from a bank, especially when the market is crashing, because it's a very, very risky business. And therefore, I'm getting non recourse loans through the seller direct. Okay. And I'll let them know, hey, if I default, you can take the property. And if they're cool with that, then we do it. If they're not cool with that, that's not a problem because I have great marketing that I bring significant amount of people in that I can pick and choose who I want to work with. That reminds me, if you want to be in a situation where you have a lot of sellers knocking on your door, okay, then let me help you in my profit sharing coaching where I show you and give you my tools where you can generate business totally for free in your backyard, in your local city. I don't care if you're in California. I have students all over LA, all over different parts. My Abundance Club, my profit sharing, wherever you are in Florida. I got a student right now. Matt just sent me a deal. The seller's motivated. They're willing to let him take over the payments, and he has an appointment with them on Saturday. He sent me an email yesterday. Okay, so there are motivated sellers out there as we speak. Now, if you're interested in how to find these people, how to talk to them, how to negotiate, how to fill out the paperwork, how to structure the deals, whatever helping you need, hand holding, then I definitely recommend you join my profit sharing. Now, you have to have your money right. So if you're dead broke, then this is not a program for you. I'm sorry. It's not for everyone. You got to have your money right. It's $200 a month plus the tools, but the tools are 100% refundable when you do the 9 deals. So whenever you do 9 deals and you pay yourself and pay me, then I'll give you your money back on the tools. But the tools you get like 90, 89% off, which is amazing. Now, if you don't have your money right and you want to have access to all my tools that I sell for thousands of dollars, like my VA course that I sell for $1,500, for like my mother course that talks about options, rentals, fix and flips, how to wholesale, how to buy houses, owner finance, all this stuff. It's a $3,500 course. It's 171 chapters. I sell it for 3,500. It's all included in there. I have 16 of my top selling courses, and I'm willing to let you guys download it because the crash is right here for just $99 a month. For $99 a month, you get access to all my courses, plus we we have once a month monthly coaching, so you can ask me any questions you have about anything, your deals, uh, product questions. You're not going to find this anywhere else. And the reason I want to do this is because hopefully you can find me a deal that I want to buy in your city because this is the best time, in my opinion, to get in real estate. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I just want to buy your deal. So if you think the same way as I do and you want to find these deals, then join my profit sharing if you have your money right. And if you don't have your money right, then get into the academy at Mr. No Fluff. Academy.Mr. No Fluff. You get access to all my courses plus monthly coaching for just $99. You can't beat that anywhere else, ladies and gentlemen. So let's get back to the story. What is point number the third rule of real estate investing in the economic collapse? My third rule is that location, location, location. Now, you heard this all the time, but if you're in the rental business, in the landlording business, it's very important to get properties, not in BFE, like butt fuck Egypt, nothing like that. You get properties, their jobs are there. Because what makes rentals great is jobs, right? For example, um, when I had rental properties, I would get it next to big corporations. Like, for example, my rental properties were right next to Lockheed Martin, right? And man, they employed a lot of people there, right? And so in that zip area, I had a lot of rentals in there. I loved it that way. A lot of them worked for Lockheed Martin, etc., or side companies that supplied Lockheed Martin. So the goal is to get somewhere that's like jobs are there, because now in this upcoming crash, there's going to be a lot of motivated sellers in the boondocks, right? But and they're going to have positive cash flow, and they may even have great equity or marginal equity, whatever the story may be. But the problem is that in the economy, jobs constrict, okay, and there's not going to be that many jobs, and you don't want a renter in your home or I don't want a renter in my home that doesn't have a job and can't make the payments. So the most important, not this is the least important because the number one and number two are the most. It needs to cash flow. I'm not gonna get a loan under my name. It's gonna be a non-recourse loan. And then three, when I get that property, it needs to be around the area where I'm going to be able to rent it out. So if there's no jobs, it's very far away, and it's in the boondocks, it's in the country. I don't care how great it is, unless I want to live there or unless I have a proven exit strategy. I'm not going to buy it because what am I going to do with it? I'm looking for number one, cash flow. If I can't get a cash flow, then there's no deal. So in today's economy, if I find a deal and I can't get a cash flow from it, I'm not messing with it. If I'm only going to get $200 or $300 from it, I'm not messing with it. Now, why am I not going to mess with it? Well, owning rental properties, believe it or not, is hard work. Okay. Now, it's not as hard work as, let's say, owning a pizza business or owning a moving company or owning a real estate brokerage firm or owning majority of other businesses out there. It's not so complex and hands on, but it's still work. How much work is it compared to owning a real business? Well, I've owned many real businesses. Well, I think it's 20% versus like owning a moving company. So a moving company is 100% hard, where being a landlord is 20% hard versus a moving company or a real estate brokerage firm, okay, or a pizza business or a car wash business, etc. But that 20% is still work on your back that you have to do. So owning rental properties is not easy, but it's not super hard. Therefore, for me to do these deals, I'm gonna have to get a minimum $600-700 to 1,200-1,300 bucks on entry level homes, where like an entry level home in my area might be $150,000 home, $200,000 home, but that property rents for $3,000 a month. That property rents out for 1,800-1,900 dollars a month easily. Okay, so on that situation, the mortgage on the property, including PITI, principal, insurance, tax, and insurance, got to be right around 700 to 800. Okay, because I got to make whatever the mortgage is, the PITI, I got to double that. So in 2019, whatever the PITI is, I'm gonna double it on entry level homes, or I'm not gonna mess with it. Okay, because there's a lot of unknown situations happening. Like we have war with Iran that's on the border, which we have war with tariff wars with China. So it has to be like a great deal, and there's a lot of great deals out there because interest rates on fixed mortgages are extremely low. But if there's like I have to do work, I got to do things like that, I'm going to cherry pick the best of the best deals. And if you like to learn how to do that in your backyard, then join my profit sharing. If you have your money right at MrNoFluff.com. If you don't have your money right, then join the Mr. No Fluff Academy, where we give you access to all of our courses, the stuff that we sell right now at MyRealEstateDojo.com for thousands of dollars, just for $100 a month, $99 a month, plus monthly coaching at academy.mrnofluff.com. Guys, click the like button. Let me know what your thoughts are on the crash. I got some comments. Let me take a look at it. I can never figure out how the comments works on my iPad. Let's see. All right, here we go. Karen, what's going on, Karen? Whitney, hey, what's going on, Whitney? Would it be a good idea to use that as a fuel to get motivated sellers? Um, Mia, I'm not sure. What do you mean? If would it be a great idea to use that as a fuel? Okay. Um, my I don't know how long you've been following me, but that's a very good question. I don't try to sell my sellers, right? I don't like just with Mr. No Fluff. I don't have a selling policy. I don't even have salespeople in our academy, right? We have a strict policy that if you can't sell yourself, then we don't want to do business with you because you can't be your dreams if you can't pull on the trigger yourself. You need someone to hold you. And the same thing with my sellers. I don't go in there and I try to sell them or persuade them or show up with a contract and put it in front of them like sign. And I actually don't do that at all. Okay, like 100%, I don't do that. I don't like that. I don't teach that. uh, I don't try to you know manipulate my sellers. I don't try to bully them. I don't try to convince them. I really want them. I really try to push them away. To be honest with you, I only want the ones that really want to do business with me, and the ones that are just kind of like this that I could sell them. I just push them away because, a couple of reasons why. One, real estate, there's a long time before the deal closes, so buyers can have remorse, sellers can have remorse. And if you ever bought a big ticket item like me, or I bought a car or motorcycle, anything, I always have remorse. So I understand that, and I don't want the seller to have remorse. So I just want to push them back. I want them to make the decision, so we eliminate the buyer's remorse. Okay, because whenever I make a decision by myself, there's no peer pressure. Usually, I don't have remorse. Only when there's a sales guy that encourages me to make a decision where I have like, hey, did I make the right decision? So I don't, I push them away. I have so many leads that I could pick, choose who I want to deal with. And that's what I teach my students is that, hey, whenever you use some of these strategies like flipping Wednesdays, like that cost $2,000, that you can get it for just like $238 whenever you join the profit sharing. Okay. Uh, and you generate all these free leads, then you can cherry pick which one that you want to deal with. Okay. If the customer is a pain, then you say no, thank you, and you go somewhere else. But if you're not generating leads, or you're spending thousands of dollars in direct mail or yellow signs or postcards, then you're desperate for a deal, and therefore you'll just deal with shitty customers. And I don't want to deal with shitty customers. Therefore, I just push away the ones that are really really motivated. They really like what I'm about, and they like that I'm not a sales guy, I'm a straight shooter. Then they come to me, right? And that's exactly how I bought all my houses. Like, I just say no, and they're the one that are calling me back to back, say, come on, Mike, I like how you're a straight shooter. I shopped around, people are just bullshitters, and I don't want to do business with you. And usually my deals are not the best deals compared to other people, but they believe that I'm going to do what I say, because so far I've done exactly what I said I was going to do, and that's what it is. So, but I do educate the customers, right? I educate them about their options. Like my superhero closing talks about that. So I educate my customers. I don't try to sell them. A lot of times I won't make money because I give them ideas that they didn't have, and that helps them, move on with life. And I'm totally happy with that, because it's a great positive karma in my life. And money is fake, and I don't work for money. And so that's the way I roll my life. Okay. I don't try to fuel anyone. I don't try to persuade anyone. When I was younger, I've been doing sales since high school. I had my own business since high school. I never had a real job. And I used to be that pit bull, but now I realize that, I don't want to work with everyone. I don't like to work with everyone. And, I know what I can do. As an investor, I'm a man of my word. I'm very compassionate. I usually give my sellers more, and more doesn't always mean by monetary. More can be just me listening to them and have compassion for them. More can be like, hey, you don't have a place to put your dog. Let me take care of them. So more can mean love. It doesn't have to be paper wise, because usually with paper wise, sometimes my offers are better, sometimes they're equal, sometimes they're less. But the more comes in many different forms that I provide the seller that the other investors don't do, because they're just focused about me, 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 me. They just want to make money for themselves. There's nothing wrong with that, but just that's just not my style of, at the dojo. Okay, but good question. Let's see what else we have. Whitney talks about seller financing in cash flow. Man, seller financing, in my opinion, is the very best way to buy real estate. Uh, and the reason is that I don't have to use all my money. I don't have to use my credit. If I have great credit, if I have bad credit, I have neutral credit, it doesn't matter. And I get better deals dealing with homeowners. For example, if you want to buy a car, a used car, if you go to a car dealership, you're going to pay two or three or four times more than the value of the car. That's just how it goes. But if you have negotiation skills, you can find that seller that the car dealer is going to buy their car, and get the great deal that the car dealer is going to get. And that's exactly what I use with in real estate. I deal with motivated sellers. I don't buy at the auction. I don't buy at the tax roll. I don't buy at MLS. Those are okay ways to make a living. Too many people do it that way. I like to go off-roading when no one else goes, so I'm by myself and I'm fishing at my own pond. And yes, it requires more skills and more calluses, but I'm down for it because I've been an entrepreneur for 25 years, never had a job, so I got the skills, and I'm giving it to you guys 90% for free. 10% is what I do to put food on the table for me and my family. Okay, guys, so click the like button. Much love to you, and don't forget the Academy. 99 bucks, you get all my courses plus monthly meetings. Or if you have your money right, then step into your next level. Join my profit sharing. We'll split the deals, 9 deals, and it's just 199 a month and 9 deals. All right. And to get more information about the profit sharing, go to mrnofluff.com. To get more information about the Academy, go to academy.com